Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. It's me, Meg, head of NFT curation. I'm stealing someone's job. Here at PDAX. Today, it's not going to be Jed. It's not going to be Patrick. I know you missed the guys, but we're doing something a little bit different today. It's going to be an all girls theme, and it's very interesting to hear more diverse voices especially in the Web3 space. This morning, Patrick, head of Metaverse, the real head of Metaverse, and I just came from the PSIA SoftCon. So that's the Philippine Software Industry Association. And we met so many different leaders in the space, not just for Web3, but also for the software industry. And it's very interesting where they're seeing things going. And we're happy to share with you what we've been learning over there. But today, we're going to do something really special. As I mentioned, it's an all girls panel, and really cool to hear the thoughts of the women in the space. So grab yourself a drink, grab yourself a coffee, even though it's late at night or closing out a day. But I hope you guys will learn so much from the esteemed guests that. So before we head there, I want to talk about our usual sharing game. If you guys haven't heard already, we are we at PDAX have this sharing game. Let me just present my slide. Let's see. Before that, we are giving away 10 general admission tickets to the Web3 Festival. This is going to be happening November 14 to 18 in Bonifacio Global City. So this is presented by our friends at BlockchainSpace and YGG, of course. Also, one of the presenters are Infinity Ventures. Also, if you don't happen to get these general admission tickets, don't worry. There's a 20% discount for PDAX. So whenever you check out, use this code, simple lang, PDAX, and you'll get that discount. So let's go on to the sharing contest. So as usual, share the stream for a chance to win 300 pesos worth of crypto of your choice and a general admission ticket to the Philippine Web3 Festival. At the end of the show, we're going to choose three lucky winners by raffle draw, and we're going to announce that at the end of the show. And if you happen to win, lucky day. If it's your lucky day today, please take a screenshot of that stream, and as your name is flashed, and then send it to us via Facebook Messenger along with your name, email, and phone number, and we'll definitely are happy to share give you your prize. So I will go back to here. Yeah, so let's get to it. I'm so happy to introduce our guest. Just a little background. Kat is passionate about the potential of Web3 to empower and create value for communities. She is currently the head of operations for Yield Guild Games, or YGG, in the Philippines, the largest play to earn guild in the world. Prior to this, she was in banking with a focus on harnessing digital financial services, and blockchain technology for a more equitable financial system. She served as head of marketing and communications for the fintech group of Union Bank of the Philippines. Our second guest is quite special as well. Armed with expertise in finance and economics as an investment banker, Jen is now leading Guild Hub, a platform that will help digital native businesses of Web3 scale. So without further ado, Kat and Jen, come on stage.
Hi,
Hello.
Meg.
Hi, ladies. How is everybody on a Monday? How has the week been? How did you kickstart the week?
It feels like the week last week never ended.
It's a
Feel
continuation of
you.
last week, Meg.
Okay. Yeah. We're happy that you're here, and we're so excited to learn from you guys. I have so I'm so happy that are women in the space all the time. I see my office mates. I love them to death, but I miss the estrogen in the room. So we're happy that you're here. And I wanted to ask, um, maybe you can introduce yourself, Kat or Jen. Who would like to go first?
Yeah,
Go
I'm
ahead.
Kat. Hi, everyone. Yeah, so I had operations for YGG Pilipinas, and basically, what we do here in the country, right? And for YGG is we engage the community here in the Philippines. So this can be anything from our events that we have, the festival that we're hosting together with BlockchainSpace next month. It can be as well like our educational platform, Metaversity, where we really try to onboard people into Web3 and get them at least for now, no, baseline understanding of the fundamentals of Web3, and then later on go in depth. And even we also have our weekly Discord activities as well for our scholars and managers. So yeah, so that's what we do here, and yeah, I just kind of make sure that all the operations for that are running smoothly.
Super huge undertaking. I can't even imagine. So I'm happy, and they're lucky to have you there at YGG. How about you, Jen? Can you tell us a little bit more of what you do in blockchain space?
Yeah, thanks, Meg. I'm the GM for one of our products called Guild Hub. But prior to that, I was leading corporate strategy and growth. So basically, what we do is our view is guilds are your new digitally native businesses of Web3. No, so YGG is a guild, and we see them as your businesses, digitally native businesses of Web3. And to that extent, what we do is we help them with a lot of things that they would need. So, be it through the network that they need to tap. Second, either through the tools that they would use to scale their own respective companies, or last but not least, perhaps mentorship. So we help other guilds in terms of how to also engage their respective communities and any tips. I think we're here to help grow the ecosystem through guilds. So blockchain space is probably your one-stop shop for Web3 guilds.
I'm gonna shift things up because we also have people who are more familiar with Filipino. So pwede naman tayo mag-Taglish. So um, bago naging ganito yung positions nyo in YGG and blockchain space, ano yung origin story nyo? Saan kayo nanggaling? How did you get this job? How did you enter Web3?
Okay, I'll start. Well, I have a very uh, how do you, unusual way of entering Web3. Started as an investment banker. No? So I really like corporate finance and anything related to numbers. And I've known our founder for quite some time because prior to my investment banking days, I joined some startups. So about 6 7 years ago, and he's been one of the he has been evangelizing blockchain. And as a traditional finance person, every time we have a get together, I would always laugh at him, right? So it's not gonna from TradFi, I was living comfortably with the commissions, etc. And he was hustling hard in terms of building the blockchain ecosystem here in the Philippines. So from time to time, I would say that's not gonna be a big thing because it kind of affect what I do. And sometimes during the bear market, we would joke around. So tatlo kaming nagkikita-kita almost every year for catch up. And sometimes we would joke around saying during the bear market, oh, we'll take care of the bill kasi it's bear market, baka walang funds. And then eventually last year before the IDO, when we launched our own token, he called me up and said, Jen, I need someone to help me raise capital and manage the business. And if it weren't for him, I wouldn't jumped into Web3. So the deal was I was about to no help him lang raise capital, and that's it. Sabi ko lang, okay, I'll help you for 2 3 months and then I'll find my replacement. And here we are. I just celebrated my 1 year. I would say the rest is history. I'm a convert now of Web3. And it's a very fun industry to be in. So from TradFi to now to Web3/GameFi.
That's quite interesting, no? Parang when I was reading your profile, that's pretty common pala in the people in Web3, especially for the women, I guess. You have this background in finance, or ako rin risk management beforehand. So Kat also is from Union Bank, and then so quite interesting. Na parang not just it's not just this space na very male dominated. Even our origins were from also male dominated spaces. So I find that very interesting lang. How about you, Kat? Can you tell us more about your path from Medyo Mas TradFi and wherever? How did you get into the Web3 space?
Yeah, actually, I of course, like a lot of people, right? I heard about crypto in the last cycle, so not this current bear market, but like the last one, right? Through friends, and I think that's a quite a common story as well for people who are getting into Web3 or crypto, right? And funnily enough, I was not yet with the bank then, and I kind of knew. Got to know the community through BlockchainSpace as it was before, when it was just a physical space. And I got to learn more, meet the community, etc. And then, yeah, I ended up working in Union Bank for 3+ years. But that was mostly on the fintech and blockchain side of things. So the group that I was with was very in tune with what was happening in terms of the developments in blockchain and also Web3, right? And years ago, Gabby actually gave me my first Axis. So Gabby is, for those that don't know,
Babe,
right? Gabby is one of our
was
co-founders.
that like was that like when it was really high up there, or
No, that was
was
before.
it?
So that was even before it was a
Oh,
thing, right? So yeah, so he gave me my first Axis. And when I was in Union Bank, we were closely watching the space as well because, we were quite aware that a lot of the people who are playing Axie Infinity or are involved in play to earn don't have bank accounts. In fact, their first type of account would probably be a Ronin wallet or a MetaMask wallet, right? So they kind of got on board into the formal financial system because they had to have a way to ramp off, right, to cash out into fiat. So we were watching this phenomenon. And about a year ago, less than a year ago, so not yet my anniversary with YGG, but in December or a little bit before December last year, right, I think sometime in October, Luis, our country manager, reached out as well. And I thought that, having observed this space, having myself, buying cryptocurrency, seeing what's happening with Axie and NFTs and all that. It was high time also that I actually joined, right, and actually be part of Web3, right? Not just from an observer point of view or an enthusiast point of view, but actually building in this space.
I love it. I love it. Okay, before we go to our next questions, there's a bunch of people who are here. Shout out to Roel Castillo. Good evening to you. Aaron, Simon, Idea is here as well. Christian Kaburian, welcome back. We love having you here all the time. Also, Kenji Dimaano Mesa and good friends Isma Jerusalem is here, as well as Lance Formarejo from A Labs. So just happy to have everyone here. If you have any questions, just drop it in the chat box, and we'll have our lovely guests answer those very riveting questions. Okay, so ladies, with these positions that you have, leadership in Web3, what's a normal day like as in operations or as CEO of General Manager of Blockchain Space? What's a day typically like? Like, as in, when you wake up, what is the thing that you do?
Check Telegram. No, just kidding. Um,
It's
yeah,
true.
check Telegram, check Discord. That's probably one of the first things that I do when I wake up. But I think what I love about being in the Web3 space is that every day is different. So it's not like in a corporate job or in banking where it's pretty, you know what's gonna happen day to day, right? I think Web3 is so exciting because it is dynamic and because we're dealing, like, at least for me, we're dealing with communities. So we always have to be responding to the needs of the communities that we deal with, right? So yeah, I don't that probably doesn't answer the question, but yeah, that's kind of what it's like for me.
For me, yeah, I think I'll just echo mostly what Kat said. Not one day is very different from the next, right? So it that the constant, changing of the things that you have to address, right? So because we're in a very very nascent industry, so the things that you have to deal with are probably not yet defined. So and you're paving the way in terms of processes and even how to deal with business partners. So one day you might be talking to a Philippine-based guild or a Philippine-based project, and another you're talking to an international game studio. It's very specific here in the Philippines because most of our Web3 community were brought by GameFi, no? So it's very gaming centric. But I think over time we're seeing in the current space is it's evolving. No? So you have DeFi projects, you have exchanges wanted to tap into the Philippine market. So my day to day is very different from one another. But for the past few weeks, and sorry for the shameless plug,
Go ahead.
most
Go
of the
ahead.
things that we've been doing is related to Web3 festivals. So the one of the probably the biggest crypto slash Web3 event that is happening here in the Philippines. So that wasn't conceptualized a couple of months ago. So but now it's taking like 90 to sometimes even more than 100% of our time. So yeah, very very interesting. It's not an it's not no day is the same.
Since you talked about it already, the festival, can you tell us what's gonna happen in the festival? What can we expect? What's going on? Yeah.
Yeah,
Anyone,
sure.
Kat or
Yeah, I think what's really exciting about the Web3 Festival is it's the first time that we're getting a lot of really, renowned speakers, right, from leading Web3 companies come here to the Philippines. So you have the likes of, Animoca brands coming here, a lot of VCs coming here. And it's really exciting for the Philippines in general because this is basically the first time they'll actually come to the country and see what it's like. There's a lot of buzz about the Philippines being like at the epicenter of play to earn of Web3. And it's really now for them to kind of see it for themselves, right? So you have like a 3 day flagship conference. It's filled with these kind of thought leaders, and also some of the leading Web3 projects that the Philippines has, right? So that in itself is very exciting. But we also have a ton of side events that are going to happen. So these side events can range from like the hackathon to like a guild leaders meetup to just fun stuff as well that's going on for people to like kind of network and get to know the community. So there's something in there for everyone, whether your interest is in GameFi or NFTs or whether it's crypto or understanding what's happening, right? So yeah, I think that's there's a lot in there for anyone actually who wants to kind of get more exposure, and also gain more knowledge right into what's happening in the Web3 space, as well as make connections with really key people who are movers and shakers globally.
do you want to add anything on, Jen? Dun sa ano?
Sure.
Sinabi ni Kat.
Sure. So what's gonna happen is you'll probably meet your idols in Web3, right? And what's the most important thing actually, more that I think in terms of not just bringing them in is the conversation that you will have with thought leaders. Because we're really, as Kat mentioned, we're really at the epicenter of Web3 adoption. And this could be the time that Philippines can own a technology that is at the bleeding edge of Philippines could be the center of a bleeding edge technology. We missed Web 1, we missed Web 2, maybe Web 3. I hope that the conversation that we'll be having in Web3 Festival, because of the speakers, because of the network, because of the VCs, will help founders here in the Philippines build more for the country. So that's very exciting, actually, that we will offer for Web3 during Web3 Festival.
Cool, cool. And I'm so happy that you two like really the strong proponents for the Web3 festival. I love it when women really take charge in space. So which leads me to my next bunch of questions. They asked me to remove some because it could get prickly, but I think it's an elephant in the room that we should be discussing. So, as women in Web3, as a leader, what do you think are the key challenges or hurdles, especially since technology and community is still relatively new? So that's the first part, and add on another layer, like how is that affected by gender? I'm really interested in knowing that, even though they asked me to remove the question.
um, so I think we have, and this is what we typically answer, comparing, so coming from an industry that's also male dominated, right? So both of us came from finance. And I think what's interesting in Web3 is, in general, right, people are much more welcoming, because I think we are still very new. So any new person that would like to know more about what Web3 is doing, we generally are open to it, right? You can talk to someone on Discord, and I probably wouldn't know if I'm talking to a woman or a man, right? We have a lot of IGNs, we have a lot of, unknown people. And
Undoxed.
then, yeah, they don't dox themselves, and then when you meet them in real life, oh my god, I did not know that you're this person I'm talking to. So it's much more inclusive because of the anonymity. There's a pro and con to that, but then you see the merit, right? So you see the contribution of that member. So first thing, Web3 in general is much more inclusive. Second is, we tend to not give too much, we have some, we like to be anon sometimes, or there's an IGN in the Web3 space, right? So it's prevalent. And third, perhaps, but there's still some challenges, right? In GameFi in particular, it's probably a spillover of tech. So tech is really not as inclusive as we want it to be, but I think I tend to believe that the leaders that we have, so in our respective companies, they're much more open to bringing more women into leadership positions, right? So anyone who's willing to contribute, it kind of makes sense, and that's the ethos of Web3, right? So you are valued based on your contribution. That's why you have DAOs. You are valued based on your contribution. Doesn't matter who or where you come from.
Awesome, awesome.
Yeah, I think I echo what Jen said about the power of anonymity, especially when talking about like gender and all these things. But I think what I want to add is, and not specific to Web3, or even in my own company or whatever, right? But just in general, women really do have to step up in order to be recognized, right? It's sad, but it's kind of the reality that we're dealing with, and it shouldn't be that way. But sometimes to get to a position where maybe a man or whatever will spend 80% of their effort to get there, women need to sometimes go 110, 120%. And I think that that's something that is very regrettable in what's happening across the board, not just in Web3. But I think women like Jen or yourself, Meg, or myself, right, are very invested as well in making sure that women are given equal opportunity. And I think that that's something as well that at least with YGG or with BlockchainSpace, I can see that that's the case as well. But these are realities, and it's unfortunate, but I think that the space is moving towards, and in general, the world is moving towards a recognition that this should not be the case, right? And as we, evolve and improve, right? Hopefully, we don't need to talk about these things in a webinar because it just wouldn't be a pain point anymore, right? Yeah.
So excited for that day. Um, I have a question, like especially for the newbies in this space that are women. This is an all women's episode. Do you look up to any specific ones in the space, like as a reference, as a mentor? Who are these people that you tap for like more insight?
Okay,
Meredith.
I'll go
Or
first. I think I think well, for, and I don't want it to be cheesy, right? So it's gonna be my mom. So shout out to my mom. But in terms of, because unfortunately, and this is the reality of it, there's not much women in positions of leadership in Web3. Um, but we do get mentorship from, and this is actually the good thing as well, is men are also willing in to provide leadership to leaders like us. I would say there's a women founder that I also look up to is Sheila from Metacrafters, a Filipina who raised the capital and IPO the company in the US, and now she's building in Web3, right? So specific to Web3, there's not a lot. Hopefully, we invite more women into the space who would be found creating their own companies, um, and yeah, I think seeing a lot of women helping out each other. So Kat and I will be attending one of this Web3 founders, underrepresented founders meeting this week. So there are people from not just from Web3 but Web2 and anyone who's willing to help uplift underrepresented leaders. So that's not just women specific, but maybe people of color, LGBTQ founders, because minorities need to help each other as well. So yeah.
Love it, love. How about you, Kat? Are there specific people that you look up to in the space?
Yeah, I think there are a number of women that I look up to, and it is a shame that you don't see more out, I guess, publicly, right? But there are definitely women that are building in this space. There are definitely women who are leaders as well in this space. Ariana from A16 Z is one, I think, that's quite public and out there, and an inspiration, right, as well for a lot of women in this space. But I think it's really about more than who you look up to. It's really about helping one another out, because it is, everyone's kind of getting started, right? There aren't a lot
There's
of
no
very public, yeah, there aren't a lot of very public women leaders out there. So for me, it's right now it's yeah, if there's someone that needs help or whatever, or is any way I can support, always open to that, always open to uplifting other women as well. So that's kind of like how I would approach the situation right now.
I love some one comment that a watcher left. Belle Laurel says, "I super love Elizabeth Stark of Lightning Labs." So happy that people are sharing who they look up to in the space. Before we continue, I just wanted to remind yung audience natin na for mag-ask ng questions kasi marami din prizes na pinapamigay. So magtanong lang kayo, and then if you're one of the lucky winners, you'll get a prize, the ones that we mentioned a while ago. Kat and Jen, what are your organizations doing about that? Yung parang elevating yung women pa? Or parang, are you doing like something na mas strategic or structured in terms of that? Like getting not just women, like what you mentioned, Jen. It's LGBTQ, minorities, na others. Are you guys doing like something a little bit more formal in that sense?
I think for us, we're not really doing anything super formal. Just because right now, if you look at how we're structured and who's on the team, it's actually very inclusive. Whether it be like women, LGBTQ, all of that. I right now we don't need to have special programs because I think it's in the culture already of YGG. So yeah, so we're not doing any programs per se, but I think it's a value that everyone shares, naman.
Cool.
Same with Kat, no? So here at BSPC, BlockchainSpace, we do not have a formal structure yet. But it's been an ongoing discussion, right? Because Web3 is all about community. And if you're building a community, it shouldn't be just one gender, right? It should be a diverse group of people giving different viewpoints. So it's a much broader discussion about diversity of voice. especially if you're building something for the community.
Okay. We do have a question here from Mark Caceres. What are the hindrances women commonly face in terms of blockchain or Web3? Maybe you have some insight on that.
Hindrance. Um, Again, it's not just Web3 eh. So parang I think career in general, no. So kasi whatever it is that you're experiencing in a traditional corporation, it's still the same, right? So I think we tend to be there's still a perception issue to some extent that needs to be addressed. And I like reading about anthropology and human nature, so I think that needs to be addressed, and that's a broader discussion about how we structure a society. But overall, no, compared to traditional corporation or Web 2, hopefully we start on a good note here in Web3. You hear a lot of crypto bros, but people are calling it out already. And let's not have that same culture, pervade Web3. So sana we get more women leaders. That's why, so that we can be more inclusive in terms of how we present and how we welcome underrepresented groups in the space.
We also have this another question. I don't know, this can get a little bit hairy kasi parang maybe we need to go down that path na parang personal experience naman. This is a question by Aljon D. Mencero. What do you guys do if they are belittling what you guys can do? Have you ever encountered an experience like that?
I think I've encountered several experiences, not specific to Web3, right? But I think, especially when I was starting out in my career as a young woman, that was also very motivated and driven. And you get, a lot of comments that are, oh, that was probably before the time you were born, or, you're probably too young to understand what that means. Things like this. So I think it was both age and gender. You get like comments like "iha ganyan" or whatever.
I know
And you just have to
that.
stand up for
Yeah.
yourself. You know, you just have to like, show that you're there. You mean business. You're not someone to be pushed around. People respect that, right? Yeah, you just kind of need to be firm and stand your ground, not be afraid, right? Even if you're talking to an executive or someone who is more than twice your age, right? And I think that's part of it. Of course, be professional. Don't be emotional. Don't all these things. But if you know what you know your worth, and you know that you know your stuff, then just stand your ground and show that, right?
Awesome, awesome. How about you, Jen? Is there like anything that stands out? No, no.
I think, yeah, not here in Web3. Fortunately, knock on wood. But in previous companies, right? I deal before in investment banking with a lot of clients, and you deal with a lot of founders who would have different stance on things. And I think, as Kat mentioned, you have to they to earn their respect, you have to work sometimes twice as hard. But and then, it's always good that people underestimate you,
I know.
because once you've proven your worth, then they respect you, right? So I think it's impetus, so it's important for us to recognize that, but at the same time understand that that shouldn't be the case, right? People shouldn't underestimate anyone, not just women. But it's one of the realities in the workplace, and we have to, as leaders now, we have to find ways to not continue that cycle. No? So hopefully, as we get more women in, they make it as inclusive as possible, and not continue whatever's unfortunate cycle in the corporate world we have right now.
There's a question from Julia Andre Mercene. I'm not gonna ask this direct question, but it's a nice jumping point. She asked us what job opportunities are open for women. Because from what I understand, Jen and Kat, myself also, we kind of jumped to leadership direction because we did have experience from other industries. But if you were someone starting out, what would be a good career path for the girls to follow? Kunwari, diretso Web3. I mean, medyo, kasi parang it's such a new industry. But where do you start?
Yeah, I wouldn't limit it by gender, first of all, right?
Mhm.
There are so many opportunities, and it's not like, just qualifying it as what are good opportunities for women is probably not the best way to start. So there are a lot of ways, right? So you can be like a Discord moderator, an NFT artist, a community builder. You can work in operations, marketing. All these things are really available for anyone, right, who wants to get into Web3, and especially for women. So don't limit yourself. If there's something that you're drawn to or you want to explore further, just go for it. That's the best advice I would say when looking at where to start.
Yeah, Web3 is fast expanding, so there's always an open, even though people claim that we're in a bear market or it's not as hype as it was before, people are still building. So our companies are still building. So there will always be open slots. And in terms of if you're not from Web3, it's so easy to get into the. I wouldn't say that. Sorry. You have to do some your research as well. But in terms of skills that you can port over to Web3, there's a lot, right? I came from a traditional finance background, and there's a lot of things that I was able to port over. The skills and the experience that I've learned in TradFi is still applicable in Web3. Don't be too, overwhelmed by blockchain. All of us are here relatively new. The space is relatively new as well. So no need, and we'll have to figure it out together.
We have a question here from Vanessa Barameda. Is there an official Women of Web3 Manila organization that you know of?
Um, there are several, but I think don't limit yourself. I think in just women focused organization, reach out to other groups, other associations, because it's still, I think, rather than us against the world, it should be much more inclusive, right? So we have to be talking to other stakeholders, and we don't want to be in a situation where people view us as someone excluding other groups as well. So and people are generally much are willing to help each other out in Web3. So just join. There's a lot in Draper Startup House. Every week they have an event. YGG BlockchainSpace, we have community meetups. So that's probably your best way to connect with like-minded people in the space.
Galing, no? Parang people have been kind of cliquish in other industries, but in this one, it's like we have like a do-over, and you don't have to stick to that specific community. Parang you can just meet everyone as if it was like blank slate. So I kind of love that about Web3. Pretty much same experience. Like us at PDAX, everyone's pretty much inclusive. We do have a comment here from Fee Tejada, great friend Fee. Agree there is no Web3 jobs for women 101. Jobs should be offered regardless of gender, race, religious belief, color, etc. So super interesting. Um, wait a second. Interesting question from I'm not sure if I'm saying this right. Alaninsi Katayok. As one of the leaders in Web3, do you think we need more Filipino builders in this space, and why?
Yeah,
So
I
this
mean,
one
I think
naman is gardening.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, you always want more builders in this space, right? It's good to see that, like, in this cycle, compared to the last one, I'm seeing a lot more builders, a lot more startups getting international VC funding, right? A lot of ideas coming out of the Philippines for Web3. But you always you can't go wrong with having more builders in this space, right? And I think as we grow, and hopefully, as more attention gets put into the Philippines and Filipino founders, there'll be more funding flowing in. I also would love to see more Filipino founders going out to the international scene and really, being exposed as well to what happens there, because the world is so big, right? And you can really see that the caliber of startups, right? When you go outside as well. So yeah, I mean, of course, the more the merrier. And I don't think that there's anything really that should limit Filipino founders at this point. Um, we have a lot of startups that got international funding from VCs and the like. There's YGG, of course, BlockchainSpace, so many others as well, right? So this is really our time to shine, I think, as builders. And yeah, just go for it.
That's why for me, like I'm super excited for the Web3 festival because the VCs are coming over. It's like the best place to showcase what you have. Show it off, guys. So super interesting. Yeah. How about you, Jen? You want to add?
Um,
something on-
Yeah, I think we welcome a lot of builders because it's a new space, right? So we need the infrastructure, we need people who will build communities, we need more content creators. So that would give us more chance to have like different synergies from different founders and help each other out. No, so I think Philippines, and I'm very biased towards Philippines, right? So now is our chance to really make a statement to the world that we are really at the epicenter of Web3 adoption. So we're gonna make products for our own market rather than Silicon Valley bringing it to Asia, but Asia will now be bringing it to Asia and hopefully to the world as well.
Super love that. Yeah. Wait a minute. Aside from the Web3 festival, are you guys working on something at YGG? I mean, of course, highlight the Legacy Web3 festival, but are you working on something special that you can share with
Yeah, sure.
at YGG and Blockchain Space, respectively?
Yeah, so one of our key like missions at YGG is to educate Filipinos, right, and other nationalities as well, right, about Web3 and the opportunities in Web3. So one of the most exciting things that we recently launched is called Metaversity, and this was done in partnership with NAS Academy. So Metaversity is really a place where if you don't you want to get started in Web3, you want to understand what all the jargon, all the terminology is like, you want to kind of discover, right, Web3. You can go to Metaversity and you'll have a lot of fundamental courses that will kind of get you up to speed, and as well as like maybe make you more comfortable, and not just curious, right, in terms of getting in the space. But what's really nice about Metaversity is that we're actually developing more courses. So it'll later go more in depth as well. So if you want to learn about how to be an NFT artist, you want to learn about cryptocurrency trading, you want to know about opportunities in the Web3 space, like all of this will be made available on Metaversity. So it's live now. If you're a YGG Guild badge holder, it's actually free. So you can sign up. There are courses there that you can watch, but we also have bi-weekly Zoom sessions as well. So you can actually meet some of the instructors and ask questions, and it can be really engaging actually to be part of. So yeah, I would definitely suggest that people here check it out, because I think it's one of the most exciting things that we've started, and it's just going to get even bigger and more in depth in terms of the knowledge and education that we're going to offer through Metaversity.
Kat, we actually have a Metaversity student here in the viewers. Shout out to Anton Micolo Solis. So he's one of our avid watchers as well. So he's one of the students. So happy that he's picked up on the what you guys have to offer. How about you, Jen? Blockchain Space. Are you up to something apart from the Web3 festival?
Yeah, definitely. So we're all builders here. So we continuously provide products. So we have products and services that caters to guilds. No, so one of our flagship products, maybe some little bit leak here. We will launch during Web3 Festival. That's something that's very close to what I was doing before at at one of our departments growth. No? So we have tools, Discord bots, dashboard, and we continuously adapt based on the needs of the guilds. No? So if you're a guild, and we can, the analogy is really there. No? So if you're a business and you want to have the tools and you want to have the network, we have all that you need to start your journey, to start your business in Web3. And I think we'll give more information as we go along, but building anything related to guilds at this point. And yeah.
We have a comment here. Sandbox PH BlockchainSpace represents. So shout out. Okay. We do have another interesting question from Pat CL. With the rise of Web3 and Web3 building startups, it can be daunting for Filipino builders since Web3 is global by nature. You have to compete with the likes of US, South America, India, Vietnam, etc. How can the Philippines establish competitive advantage versus these other competitors?
Thanks for that, Pat CL. No? So, as I mentioned, kasi if you're building something in Web3, the feedback mechanism is faster compared to Web2. No? And how are we different from other countries is that you don't have to convince people of the use cases of Web3, right? Two things. First, first I'll highlight the readiness of consumers here, or the familiarity in Web3. Unlike in other countries, so I've been to other countries already, visiting and attending some conferences. Here, it's really, if you go talk to another person, they somehow know already, they have some idea of what crypto is. And if you're a builder, it's easy for you to, number one, get customer feedback, and number two, test your product. And that fast feedback mechanism makes you pivot, or helps you improve your product. So that's one. Because consumer familiarity, we're not the normies, we call it in Web3, normies, people are not familiar, or we're not as as high users, just like sophisticated users, just like Korea or Japan, but we're somewhere there. And if you have those combination, and also we're in a, demographic sweet spot, no? So we're a relatively young population, and that adoption is easier. Technological adoption in that age group is also easier for these types of technology. So our population and the familiarity of the community about Web3 hence you can iterate faster. Second, I think in terms of the regulatory framework, in general, although there were not yet there, in general, the Philippine government has been supportive of founders. No? So Kat and I will be attending one of the initiatives of the ICT this week, Global Blockchain Summit. So the government recognizes the fact that they need to have this sandbox wherein founders and users are safe to have this idea that the government is there to help them. So those two things are the most important things for any builders and any wide adoption of a new technology. So we have the right recipe, and we have the government support, hopefully now and in the future, in building anything in blockchain.
So I think tama yung sinabi ni Anton Micolosolis. He was asking, is this the best time to pitch ideas? It seems like yes, because we have that sandbox almost in place by government. Tapos pitch lang ng pitch, I guess. How about you, Kat? Did you want to add on to that, what Jen said?
Yeah, I think the mindset of Filipino founders also needs to shift a little bit. Sometimes as Filipinos, we have this tendency na nahihiya tayo, foreigners, or we have this kind of complex, no, that maybe we're not as good as them. But I think just looking at the Filipino founders in Web3, right, and they've paved the way really for us, right, and I don't think we need to necessarily go out with that mindset anymore. In fact, when you say you're from the Philippines, people know that it's it's a hotbed for Web3 innovations, right? So I think a lot of it has to do with that just rejigging how we think about what it means to be a Filipino founder. Actually, I would say that we have an edge over some of the countries actually mentioned. We know that, like, in terms of NFT ownership, we're one of the highest in the world. In terms of MetaMask wallet usage, right? We're also one of the highest in the world. And these are statistics that should just give us more confidence to go out there and tell investors that we know the market, we know who we're building for, all these things. So I think actually right now, things are on our side. So I would just say that maybe the mindset that we go out with shouldn't be, how can I compete against them, but maybe, how can they compete against me as a Filipino founder in Web3, in one of the epicenters of Web3 in the world, right? So maybe I think that mindset is something that it's hard to do, it's hard to change, but we don't need to hide in the shadows anymore. And you should actually be very proud to say that you're a Filipino founder in this space.
Grabe, no? Parang what a time to be alive, not just as a woman, as a Filipino. Parang if there's a time to unleash those wild ideas, I guess it would be now. Uh, there's a question here from Fee. It says, what can you say about how many of the blockchain gaming, like Axie, are being angled more toward competitive gameplay, where now it's becoming more expensive for both the players and guilds, given you have to buy more NFTs like runes or charms to have a more competitive advantage. Do you think this only caters to those who can afford? Where do we place those people who don't have as much resources as others? So I think this is an issue about access and inclusivity. But maybe you ladies would like to address this.
Sure. So I think I like where blockchain gaming in general is trending towards to, no? So we have to change the narrative now that everything is guaranteed. And that's how gaming is in general. So it's because it should be competitive, or it shouldn't capture like 100% of all the games. Right? Like 100% of the game should be X to earn. No, I think gaming in general will have a portion of gaming where people grind and they get something in return, but the narrative should be around all of the games will be transitioning to Web3, and some of the games may have some earning component to it. Some may not. Some might focus on esports, right? Competitive gaming. So that's a welcome change. In terms of the question around people pay to win, etc., I think that's more of a question to the game studios, because most of them would have their own target audience, and who am I to say what would be the right mix at this point. um, Pay to win is still an ongoing in web 2. Traditional gaming is still present, so obviously there's a target market out there for pay to win. So I think we're seeing a lot of diverse games nowadays, so it's not just one narrative, and I'd like to see different narratives and different ecosystem being built for gaming in general, so that you have more people coming into the space. So not just there's a paywall and then you have to buy certain assets or you need to pay, etc. There's a free to play now, free to play games upcoming as well. But for those that would probably need more, you need to pay to win. You have the likes of that's still a portion of the guilds, right? So they provide assets to players to reach their maximum potential as they compete or as they play in a particular game. So it's still helping, like guilds still helps their players, reach their full potential, and that's how we view them, right? They are here to build and enable the players to be what they want to be in terms of gaming as a gamer.
Nice. How about you, Kat? Even just like a short blurb about that.
Yeah, sure. I can actually go on for a while, but then I guess
I
what
know.
we're seeing is that there are a lot of new games being developed, right? So maybe we won't see a lot of them in the next 6 months. Maybe it'll take a year or so, right? But there are going to be a lot of different models, a lot of different types of games. It can be for the casual gamer, it can be for the more competitive gamers. Some of them, maybe the play to earn aspect is a little bit different, or it's like you need an asset in order to access the game, etc. So there are a lot of these models coming up now. And I think what excites me most about it is still the promise of ownership in the space, and also that as a player, as a participant, there are a lot of different roles as well that someone can do that's participating in Web3 games. So for example, you can be either a breeder, or maybe you want to craft like certain items, or you're a player, right? Maybe you like the games that are more competitive, or the more casual games, or the ones that are more grindy, right? So for me, I'm still very excited about these opportunities in the space. But certainly, one of the things we do as a guild is to make sure that there's access as well to the opportunities in Web3. So I think this is really a time for guilds to kind of either help them access more competitive types of games, help them access other types of games, right? So it really depends. I think different guilds will cater to different things, and we're already seeing this now. So there's a lot that's going to happen, but I definitely think that with all the new innovations and game studios working on developing different types of games, my hope is that it's going to be there's going to be something in there for everyone, and guilds can help be the bridge, right, for the community to access all these different types of Web3 games.
Grabe, super, super exciting. I didn't realize it's kind of top of the hour already. We've been going on for almost an hour, just hopping in and out of topics. Pero we kind of need to wrap it up. Maybe just closing words, parting words for our audience. Anything that you guys wanted to say, whether in relation to the Web3 festival or whatever lang. As a woman in Web3, as a leader, drop the woman na, as a leader in Web3. Anything na parting words?
Yeah, I want to invite everyone to the Web3 Festival. I think there's a lot of engagement that I see going on in the chat, which is great. I think the Web3 Festival is a perfect opportunity to continue these conversations with the community, with thought leaders, with everyone who's coming here as well. And yeah, I just want to, extend that invitation, and I hope to see some of you at the festival as well, because this is going to be kind of like a celebration, right, of everything that the Philippines has done in Web3, of the strides that we've made in the space, but also a peek into the future of where we're going. And I think that's going to be super exciting for everyone, and just hope to see you all there.
Maybe Jen?
And maybe just to add on to what Kat said, no? So see you guys at Philippine Web3 Festival. I'm seeing a lot of like people that you will meet there, no? If you want to meet the stars like Spracky, Kuku, Sandbox Team, Mikolo, Kevs, Isma is gonna be there. All of the people who wanted a shout out, there you go. Mark from Sandbox. So this is just a love fest, okay? So I think see you guys there. It's gonna be a fun, insightful, and all of the thought leaders in Web3 will be there. So don't miss out. Purchase your ticket at phweb3festival.com. Like influencer now. phweb3festival.com. Buy your tickets while it's still early bird. We have our early bird until October 26th. So it's about 50% off. So yeah, see you guys there.
Grabe. It's been such a pleasure speaking to you, ladies. I'm looking forward to what you guys will be building, and looking forward especially to the Web3 Festival. So definitely will be there. Thank you again for your time, and I'm hoping that we can get into more calls like this, or webinars like this, to talk about so many things. There's like so many things to build, and I totally appreciate all your insights about the space. So thanks again for your time, and hope to see you guys soon.
Thank you, Meg.
Thanks,
Thanks
Meg.
for having us.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, so there we have it. My key takeaway is actually Web3 is one of the most inclusive places to be. if you wanted a fresh start, basically, from all of the misogyny or whatever, you might consider a career in Web3. Like what Jen and what Kat were saying, it's more about what you can contribute to the space rather than you can actually hide your identity and people will still talk to you. And maybe it's time to really get out of our shells, like as women. Basically, what they were saying is just meet everyone because everyone will talk to you with open arms. They will help you in whatever kind of project that you want to get involved in. People are so willing to mentor. Just get out there and get on what the platforms. Everybody's on Twitter, on Discord. Just ask and basically someone ask and then you will receive. Basically, that's it. Before we go, we did want maybe Jed can come up and help us with the raffle for the winners. Um,
Hello,
yeah,
everyone.
yeah. Let's do the raffle for the sharing contest, and then let's do the quiz game, our typical quiz game.
All right, I'll bring in Angelo also since he's the one doing that. Angelo, kindly share your screen for the sharing game, Wheel of Names.
Ikaw, Jed, like while this is running, what did you think about what Kat and Jen had to share?
Yeah, I love the conversation between the three of you. I think what really stood out to me was it really emphasized how inclusive Web3 is, given that women aren't really favorable in the traditional career world. While here, we can see that they didn't experience any belittling or any of those stereotypes that women encounter while working. In here, it's like everyone really accepts regardless of who you are and what your
Okay,
background
I was
is.
surprised. I
Really
was
good.
expecting it to be a little bit worse. But
Really.
anyway, let's spin this. Dal-dal pa natin, eh, no? Congratulations to Christian Kaburian.
Hey, congrats, Christian. You just won 300 pesos worth of crypto and a ticket to the Philippine Web3 Festival. So just take a screenshot of this stream and PM our Facebook page with your name, email, and phone numbers so we can reward you with a ticket.
So our next winner is Aljon D. Mencero.
Congrats, Aldron. You just won 300 pesos worth of crypto and a ticket to the Philippine Web3 Festival. So just take a screenshot of this stream and PM our Facebook page with your name, email, and phone number so we can give you your ticket.
And our last winner for the 300 draw is Steven Carriac.
Congratulations, Steven. It's nice to see that some of the regulars have won the tickets to the Philippine Web3 Festival. So I hope to see you guys there.
Sige. Let's close out with the quiz game, our typical quiz game. Because we
Yep.
we just love giving away prizes.
Let me share my screen. All right, can you guys see my screen?
Yes.
All right, just a reminder for the mechanics of the quiz game, different questions will be flashed on the screen. And all you guys have to do is type 1, 2, 3, or 4 in the comment section for your answer. So correct answers will have a chance to win 500 pesos worth of crypto and a ticket to the Philippine Web3 Festival. So first person to answer the question gets the prize, and 3 winners will be announced at the end of the show. So to claim your prize, again, just take a screenshot as your name is flashed and PM our page with your email, name, and phone number. All right, so let's begin. And also, we're also giving away 4 of the remaining admission tickets since, as we mentioned in the beginning of the stream, we have a total of 10 tickets to give away. So later on, we'll be giving out 4 people who ask the best questions to our guests. So stay tuned. All right, so let's begin with our first question in 3, 2, 1, Go. So what does BlockchainSpace offer to guilds?
Type in those numbers.
Numbers, guys.
Ayan na. Ayan na. I was looking at the wrong pane pala. That's why it's refreshing.
It's moving.
Yeah.
All right.
I think
The
maybe
correct answer for this one is number 4, all of the above. So BlockchainSpace offers all these services to the various gaming guilds. And the person who got this answer correctly is Kit Jorvina. So congratulations, Kit, for winning 500 pesos worth of crypto and a ticket to the Web3 festival held this coming November. Congratulations, Kit. Just take a screenshot and PM our page with your name, email, and phone number so we can give you your ticket to this coming event. All right. So for the next question, in 3, 2, 1. So what is the educational platform of YGG? I believe Kat mentioned this in one of her speeches a while ago.
shout out to Carlo. Hi, Carlo.
Hi, Carlo. Wait, I can't see what name. Oh, there. Hey, Carlo. All right. So the winner for this question is Anton Nicolo Solis. Congratulations, Anton. You just won a free ticket to the Philippine Web3 Festival and 500 pesos worth of crypto. So just take a screenshot of this stream and PM our Facebook page with your name, phone number, and email. All right, down to our last question. So in 3, 2, 1. When is the Philippine Web3 Festival? Is it October 28 to 29, November 14 to 18, November 28 to December 4? What do you guys think? All right. So our winner for this question is Mark Chua Perez. Congratulations, Mark, for answering the question correctly. So the Web3 Philippine Festival will be held November 14 to 18, but on October 28 to 29, there's another event for the crypto community. It's the Web3 PH Summit. And for November 28 to December 4, that's the Philippine Blockchain Week. So it's just some fun facts if you guys want to attend those events. So congratulations, Mark. You just won 500 pesos and a ticket to the Philippine Web3 Festival. So just take a screenshot and PM our Facebook page. All right. So
All
moving
right.
on to the remaining 4 giveaways, Meg. We'll be picking out 4 winners from the comment section.
Oh,
Or people
we
who
still
asked-
have more prizes.
Yeah.
I didn't realize. Cool.
We only gave away 6 so far, so there's 4 more to be given away. Very generous. We're very generous today. So I just want to give out to these people, specifically si Julia Andrea Mercene. I remember you're very much interested in exploring the world of Web3, and there's no better place to do it by attending the event this coming Philippine Web3 Festival. So congratulations, Julia. You just won a ticket to the Web3 Festival held this coming November 14 to 18. So just take a screenshot of this page and PM our Facebook page and with your name, mobile number, and email address. We can give you the ticket. Congratulations, Julia. And another lady who was very much interested in exploring the world of Web3, so it's Vanessa Barameda. So congratulations, Vanessa, for winning a ticket to the Philippine Web3 Festival. Just take a screenshot of this stream and PM our Facebook page. How about you?
Congratulations,
Are there any
Vanessa.
questions that stood out to you?
There are a lot. Hang on.
We have 2 more to give away.
Okay. Wait, let me just scroll through the comments. Um, maybe, and I think we already gave a ticket out to him. I don't know, ikaw na lang mamili, Jess. No, there's so much pressure. It's like too much responsibility, too much power in the rings. You pick na lang.
All right, sure. Wait. I'm thinking if these people won already. Yeah, I think they won.
Um, well, this
Okay.
one. Belle Laurel. I love that she
Oh yeah.
volunteered. Who she considered a mentor, Elizabeth Stark of Lightning Labs. So I
Let
think
me
she.
look for your name, Bell Laurel.
Yep.
There's so many comments. Wait. Oh, there you go.
Okay.
So, Bell Laurel, congrats. You just won a ticket to the Philippine Web3 Festival. So, take a screenshot lang at PM our Facebook page and our team will get in touch with you.
Ikaw
And
na the last one.
winner. Sige. Bigyan na natin si Marietta Somoza. Congratulations, Marietta. We're feeling very generous today. You won the last ticket for the Philippine Web3 Festival. So we hope to see you there, and just take a screenshot and PM our page with your name, email, and mobile number. So congratulations, Marietta. All right, that's it.
Yeah, so that concludes this episode of Fresh Money. If you have any suggestions or comments, or if you want to hear from a specific person, just let us know at PDAX. We're happy to invite these people, and if you wanted to learn more from them, that would be awesome. Ikaw, Jed, do you have anything last words to say?
Yeah, I just want to push. We'll be having another episode this Thursday with traders. So if you guys want to learn more about trading, where the market's heading, stay tuned for our episode this coming Thursday with a very famous, popular guest in the trading community and maybe even the crypto community. So stay tuned this Thursday at 5 p.m.
All right. I guess with that, we can call it a night. Thank you, everyone, and see you on Thursday.
Thanks, guys. Bye.
Bye.